Does face taping help reduce wrinkles and fine lines? Does it work? Will it get rid of your wrinkles? Reduce your fine lines? We're answering that question today. And actually, guys, a lot of people swear by this. Absolutely. If you put in the Googler Schmoogler face taping, you'll see all sorts of things, different brands, different companies, different products, different reviews, articles, etc. It's big and it's been around for a while. But the question is, does it actually work? I'm going to give you my take today, guys. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. First of all, before I give you my take on whether this works or not, let me tell you a few things you got to keep in mind. First of all, when we use anything like tape, for example, on our face, you have to remember that depending on the tape that you're using, what it's got in it, and your own skin, there could be sort of irritation or reactions to the tape, especially if you have sensitive skin, something to be mindful of. Not everyone is going to be okay with putting tape on their skin. So you got to keep that in mind. I would also say, keep in mind sort of the thickness, the strength of the tape, etc. Because remember, you got to pull that tape off. You don't want any damage to your skin. You don't want any lesions or things like that. It may seem silly to mention those things, but actually it's not, because skin irritation, skin damage is something that I think about when I think about putting tape or anything like that on your skin. That's the first thing. The other thing is the idea sort of behind face taping is that you put the face tape sort of strategically in different areas to, and oftentimes people sort of put it and almost sort of stretch the skin or pull the skin in the direction that they want it to go to remove wrinkles, fine lines. Oftentimes people sleep this way. The idea is to keep the face still so that you're not working those muscles. And then in the morning you remove the tape, and over time, or over a lot of time or less time, wrinkles are supposed to be disappeared. One thing I want to remind you of is, if you're using something to keep your face still, like tape or whatever, any movement that you do may actually use stronger and more muscular force, meaning that the muscles that you are using to move, that you may sort of inadvertently do when you're sleeping, etc., those muscles will actually have to work harder because it's sort of fighting against this tape or this restrictive element that you have on your face. That actually sort of defeats the purpose, right? Because, the more muscles that we use, that certainly may over time contribute to lines and wrinkles. You actually may be using more muscles with tape on your face than without, or at least that's a potential possibility. So kind of keep that in mind, The other thing is, we also have to remember that wrinkles are not just caused by facial movements. The idea is to not move your face and hopefully get rid of wrinkles, et cetera, et cetera. But wrinkles and fine lines are not just caused only by facial movements. There are other things that contribute, right? Sun damage, and all sorts of other things. So we sort of have to keep that in mind, that it's not just sort of one cause of wrinkles. We've got to be wearing sunscreen. We've got to be taking good care of our skin, and things of that nature. Now, let's get to sort of the elephant in the room. Does face taping work? Well, as I mentioned before, a lot of people swear by this. Yes, they do. There's a lot of people that say it absolutely works. As a board-certified family physician, it's hard for me to imagine that face taping would have anything more than sort of temporary effects, right? Because it's tape that you put on and you take it off. So it's hard for me to imagine that any effects, if someone sees them, would be long-term or long-lasting, or would last much longer than temporarily. It's hard for me to imagine that. With that said, though, the way that we would really know whether face taping works or not is through clinical trials. We have to study it. We have to see over time. People face tape a certain way, a certain skin type, whatever, what happens over time. That's the best way to know, and probably the most definitive way to know. So that's sort of the conclusion. I know some of you might say, well, that's not much of a conclusion at all. Well, it is actually. And all of those things, in my opinion, do exist. While there are many people that swear by it, it's hard for me to imagine that the results are anything more lasting than temporary. And then there are people who say it doesn't work. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know that we fully know. I don't know that we've done trials on this, which we would need to do to see. If you decide that you want to try face taping, sort of keep many of those things that I mentioned earlier in mind. Think about this critically. Also, be thoughtful and use common sense when you're using it, if you try. If you do use face taping, I want you to write in the comments. Let me know. Does it work for you? Do you like it? What are the pros? What are the cons? I want to know about this. And let me know what you think in general. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Caudle. I do videos debunking health myths, and talking about all sorts of stuff every single day that's related to health on Facebook, Please like and follow my page. For those of you who send stars, I respond personally. Also, consider joining my subscription group, Dr. Jen Superstars, on YouTube. Hello, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. And guys, both of you, check out my my website, drjencaudle.com, where you can sign up for my free health newsletter. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. I'll see you soon.